channel, and I hope you're well. Happy Friday and all of that jazz. What have you been up to? Have you been busy? Have you had a good week? I hope you have. Mine's been better. I haven't had to go to the vet, so that's a bonus, you know. Seriously though, the dogs are well and it's all good. I couldn't be happier, to be fair. I've done the usual. I've taken them for walks in the woods. We've been over to see the sheep and stuff as well, and unfortunately didn't see any lambs, but you know, still early, still time. So yeah, what else? Not a great deal. Other than, as you sort of may have or may not have guessed, you know, I'm still using my phone because my webcam's completely, it's not good. So if you have any suggestions on good webcams, please let me know, because I could do with one, because I honestly. Anyway, waffling. Today's video is throwing back to paranormal and haunted and ghosty and all of that stuff. I do like doing all the murderers, serial killers and all of that stuff, because I find it really fascinating, really interesting, but I don't want to be too full on with that, you know, every single video. But I will be doing another one possibly next week. I might alternate, you know, and do serial killer one week, ghosties next week. Who knows, you know, I'll just do whatever takes my fancy at the time. So yeah, this week is all about Whitby. I don't know if you've ever been to Whitby. It's a little sleepy sort of village town in Yorkshire, and I think it's probably lovely, to be fair. It sounds like my sort of place. And yeah, it's about that, and I'm not going to go into it now because, like I said, I'll be doing the video in a minute, so there's no point in me waffling on about it now. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to shush, zip my mouth, and I'll see you on the other side. Enjoy the video. Whitby Abbey and St Mary's Church is in North Yorkshire in England. And like many places in the UK, Whitby is known for its history and ghostly tales. This little fishing village is said to be home to many spirits and spooky goings on. St Mary's Church sits on top of the cliff in the shadow of the abbey. Apparently a phantom hearse with 4 headless horses and a headless driver can be seen to stop in front of the church and then race along the cliff before plunging over the edge into the sea. So, if you walk up the ascending cliff path, you'll eventually find yourself at the foot of the abbey steps, with a large ruin standing above you. So when a cold wind whips through the alleyway causing signs to creak and swing, or a howl is heard from across the moors, don't run away. Does that set the scene? Good. Because a popular legend is the tale of the phantom coach, and it takes place at the top of the abbey steps. The story goes that if you walk up the 199 abbey steps on a cold, dark night, where only the light of the moon illuminates the ground, if you stand outside St Mary's Church, you might be in for a fright. Standing in the grounds of St Mary's Church, the structure towering above you like a proud sibling of the abbey ruins, you might hear the sound of horses approaching in the distance, and then if you've got enough courage to stay, you might see a ghostly horse-drawn carriage charging towards you. The headless driver, he could be furiously whipping the horses, and then you'll hear the sound of a horse's hooves heavily pounding on the ground, just like thunder. As the carriage approaches, the figures inside are barely visible, and the carriage hauls up outside the church entrance. The horses rearing on their hind legs. The coach apparently carries some skeletal passengers, who apparently were sailors. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a bit of a freaky, spooky story on its own. But another one is a story of the Howl of the Barghest. Now this is a huge, muscular, dog-like beast, and tales of the creature go back many years, and it was even mentioned in Bram Stoker's novel as a huge black dog running from the ship. Legend has it that the creature stalks its prey on the moors surrounding Whitby, and it preys on farmers' livestock and other wild animals. Apparently it only seeks its victims who hear its wild howl, so if you find yourself on the Yorkshire moors at night and you hear its howl, you better find somewhere to hide and bloody quick. Now I don't know about you, but that reminds me of the American Werewolf in London. And now, I think even now, that was a scary, creepy story, the film and everything. And I think, that perhaps the film maybe was set around the beast. Who knows? Another known legend though is Hobbs, Boggarts and Boggles. Now that might sound like things from Harry Potter, but in actual fact it's meant to be like a goblin-like creature, which is known as all of those names. It's believed to live in the caves around Whitby, and it's apparently very bad-tempered. Aren't we all? Folklore, though, says that they often moved into people's houses and caused problems, like turning milk sour and frightening livestock and generally just being a pain in the arse. Once one has chosen your home, they can be near impossible to remove. Some believe that if you try to leave them behind and move house, they will simply follow you. In fact, Hobbs have even influenced many village names in and around Yorkshire, presumably where one may have dwelled. A good example is Boggle Hole, which is a small village just outside of Whitby. There's some good news though, and it's that not all Hobbs are bad. Some old legends speak of them being able to heal the sick, and that Hobbs who lived in the caves around Whitby Cliffs could help cure children who were brought to the caves by their mothers. Others believe that Hobbs were made up by smugglers who used the caves for storage and just needed a story that would ensure their privacy. What are your thoughts? My thoughts are, I love the sound of Boggle Hole, a little village just outside Whitby. Where do you live? I live in Boggle Hole, and what a great name for a village. I just think it's great. And I do think also the Hobbs, Boggarts and Boggles remind me very much of Harry Potter, and I just think, it's a goblin-like creature, so I do think of the goblins and stuff in Harry Potter, so that's all that brings to my mind. Little tiny goblin type creatures that work in a bank. Yeah, or collect a sock to set themselves free. Now then, but I don't know about you, but who knows whether they're true. If you live around there, do let me know what you think, because I like folklore stories like that. I think they're fascinating. So the Whitby Abbey ruins are a reminder to all of the power of the medieval church. The abbey was built in 657 AD, and it was founded by Saint Hilda, whose ghost is rumoured to roam the abbey, where she peeks from one of the highest windows. This ghost also gained fame with her mention in Bram Stoker's Dracula. But she's not alone in her ghostly haunting. She's joined by Constance de Beverley, who was a nun who broke her vows of chastity. When this was brought to light, she was bricked up alive inside the abbey walls, and her ghost is still heard today pleading for her release. That's horrible, isn't it? I mean, really not nice, being bricked up alive inside the walls. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine what that would be like. That would be horrendous, absolutely horrendous. There are more Whitby ghosts found in one of the two lighthouses on the coast though. One lighthouse is said to be visited by an armed ghost of a man who fell to his death onto the rocks under the lighthouse. This entity does much more than simply try to scare visitors to the location. He attempts to trip them so that they can join him in his death, which is not the sort of person you want to bump into while you're on the rocks by the lighthouse. So if you're ever around there, keep your eye out for someone trying to trip you up. Because the Gothic structures of the Abbey were once inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula, the town is famous for its cobble streets and graveyard in the church. It also hosts a goth weekend every year where thousands descend upon the town, all in awe of Dracula and all the spirits that Whitby holds. I think that's fantastic. I'd love to go there and see all the goths and all of that. I'll have to find out what weekend it is. It sounds great. There are several hotels that are said to be home to many ghostly visitors, the oldest being a Tudor mansion built in 1516. The Bagdale Hall is said to be haunted by its former owner, Brown Bushell, who was executed for his acts of piracy. The ghost of Brown is said to roam the halls and the stairways. It's also been blamed for several reports of poltergeist activity within the hall. The streets of Whitby are also home to many ghostly apparitions that are said to wander through the streets after dark. Are you brave enough to venture there at night to see if you can spot any ghostly goings on? If you are, and you do live in around Whitby, or you going on holiday there, I'd really be interested to hear if you've seen anything or you know of any stories. Do let me know. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't be too scared. Well, what did you think? Did you enjoy it? Have you ever been to Whitby and have you experienced anything in Whitby? Because if you have, then I'd like to hear about it. It'd be interesting. I think for me, I like the whole aspect of the whole thing, as a whole. But I also think it'd be really interesting somewhere to go and stay, not just because of the paranormal bit, although that really does help, but also because of the fact that it's really up my street in the sense of the oldie worldy type place. It sounds really pretty. It sounds really, really nice. And that's the sort of thing that I like when I go somewhere. Go somewhere for the history and stuff, because I'm a bit of a geek like that. And I don't mind saying it. I'm a geek. Oh well. I think I'll have to make a trip to Yorkshire. And the thing is though, if I go to Yorkshire, I've been there before and it's beautiful, absolutely stunning. The place is stunning. It's somewhere that I really would love to live because of the countryside is second to none. I mean, it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. There's nothing else I can say. I mean, so I expect that Whitby is just as beautiful, if not more. So yeah, if you've been there and you've experienced anything in Whitby or whatever, all the moors, then I'd really be interested to hear your story. Please do tell me. You can email me or contact me on socials, which it'll all be, down below or whatever. Not down below, but down in the description. I'll put my link in the description. Or you can just find it if you go on my page. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm waffling, as usual. There goes a motorbike. I don't know if you heard that. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, the moors. I mean, American Werewolf in London or not, I'd say so. That really reminded me of the film, because when the Americans walk across the moors and they're told by all the locals in the pub to stay off the moors, and then they get attacked by a werewolf. Yeah, it just reminded me of it, like the beast of, whatever that it was called. I wonder if that's a thing, I mean, it's obviously a folklore sort of story, local, known legend thing. If you live in Yorkshire and you've heard of it, do tell me about it, because I'm quite interested. I like things like that. And the little goblin things as well. Interesting. How they go and live in your house and they just cause havoc. I mean, I'm not goblin, but I should be because I just call Zambek. No, I'm all right, really. Anyway, right, well, I think I've waffled on quite enough. Have yourself a great Friday. Have yourself a great weekend. And I'll see you again next week. Yeah, that's all. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again next week. Take care of yourselves and keep smiling. Bye bye.